So, what do you do when someone from your past keeps on reaching out to you and you're in a relationship with somebody else? Should you let him back in? So, I was talking to someone and she had a relationship recently, and it was a serious one where she was living with him. He asked her to move out. She got her own place. She is doing really well now with a job, and she met someone new. And it's a pretty new relationship. But the guy who had broken up with her keeps on calling her, texting her in the middle of the night. And I said, well, you're answering those calls. Are you answering those texts? And she's like, yeah, because he really needs me. And I made her stop because, look, when someone is still reaching out from you from your past, and you have ended that relationship, and you have learned your lesson, and you have moved on, look at it like you've graduated. Like, look, when you've graduated from elementary school, middle school, high school, college, you get a cape, a gown, and a diploma, right? So I imagined her with that on every time her past reaches out to her, because you've learned that lesson, you've moved on, you've graduated from that relationship. So, and you can look at it like a military way, where you can look like you have an honorary badge on you all the time. So if your past reaches out to you, it's up to you who you let in to your universe, your world. And if someone has broken up with you, or if you've broken up with them and you've parted ways, then that's it. You've parted ways. You've learned your lesson. You've moved on. So I was talking to her and I said, you know what? You need to think bigger. Besides thinking about how you've graduated, you've learned that lesson, think bigger as far as like princes and kings and supermodels and gorgeous guys calling you all the time. It's up to you who you let in your world. It's up to you what phone calls you answer, what texts you respond to. So, do you see what I'm saying? So she was looking at it really small, and I made her look at it bigger. And I said, why don't you flip the switch? What if this new guy that you're dating kept on talking to his ex-girlfriend? How would that make you feel? And she thought about that. She's like, gosh, I didn't think about it that way. And so I said, what you're doing is you're telling the universe, you're telling yourself that you haven't learned your lesson and you're not ready for this new relationship. And she goes, but I am. And I said, well, you need to look at yourself as that you've learned your old lesson and that you've moved on. Because you're telling the universe that you didn't learn that lesson, and they're going to keep on making sure that are you sure? Are you sure you're ready to move on? And she goes, that's so funny, because another guy that I was dating, and I didn't think it went really well, he called me and he wanted to go out with me. And I said, that's your lesson. Because you have told the universe that you're not ready to close that chapter of your past and that you have not moved on, even though you have the diploma in your hand and the cape and the gown on, that you've learned that lesson and you've moved on. And I said, look, if you've gone to college and you have a diploma, why would you want to go back to college and study everything all over again when you've already learned everything and you have your diploma in your hand? And she was like, oh my gosh, I didn't think about it that way. So you have to think about imagining yourself in a cape, a gown, a diploma, an honorary badge, a suit, something that lets you know every time that past reaches out to you, whether or not you want to take that call because you just feel like you have to help them or they need me. But do they really? So think about that. When someone from your past reaches out to you and you've already moved on, you've broken up, you've said goodbyes, and lo and behold, out of the blue, they reach out to you. You don't have to answer that call. You don't have to answer that text. You have no responsibility to that past to explain anything to them because you've learned your lesson, okay? So when I was talking to her, she's like, I'm gonna start doing that until I feel comfortable enough where I don't even have that in the back of my mind anymore of having that diploma in my hand, because I do not want to go through that again. I do not want another person in my life that treated me that way. I've moved on and I really want to enjoy my new life. And I said, well, that's what you need to do with the new person that's in your life. You need to focus on yourself and you need to focus on you two as a couple and move on. And it's so hard. I know it's hard, but each day it will get better. Each month it will get better. And each year it will get better. Believe me, to the point where you're not talking about that person during the day, because every time I talked to her, that she brought him up. And I said, I cannot wait to have a meeting with you or a conversation with you where you do not bring up his name. That's when I know that you're fully over him. And believe me, some loves are hard to get over longer than others. And I really feel, and she feels the same way, that this is the one that's going to take her a while. But I hope that helps, where you can imagine yourself that you've already graduated from that relationship. You've already learned your lesson from that relationship and you're ready to move on, okay? And that will help you when the past reaches out to you. Imagine yourself with that diploma in your hand, the cape and the gown and everything. And do you really want to go back? Do you really want to do that over again? It's up to you. I'm Lachelle, the Lionheart Messenger, and I hope this helps. Sleep well tonight. Bye.